Hey guys, it's Rebalanced. It's 4:50 a.m. Yeah, it's 4:50 in the morning. It's November 24th, 2014. It's kind of cold, and I can't sleep. I don't know. This has been happening so often lately, and I don't really know why. I'm, I go to bed tired, but then I kind of just can't sleep, and I don't really know the reason why that is. And this has been happening very often. More often than not, like, I just go to bed and I can't sleep. And I don't really know why. This has been a big problem ever since I started college lately. Being in high school, I never really had this issue, but now that I'm in college, all of a sudden, trying to sleep when I should be sleeping is one of the hardest things in the world for me. I I think I made something similar to this. I think it was like the desire to be validated. I think I made that audio vlog. Yeah, I guess that's what I can call this, an audio vlog, not even a podcast. But I made that when I was really tired. But that was a little bit earlier, like 2 in the morning or something. It's almost 5 in the morning. I really can't sleep. I think it was raining outside. I don't even know. I guess I'm making this audio vlog because whenever I'm awake at this point, I have a lot of thoughts in my head, and I normally just try to say or think or express whatever thoughts I have, and normally I don't do that, at least not in this kind of format. I normally just keep it to myself, or I'm just thinking. I kind of just lie awake there, maybe listen to some music, I don't know, do whatever really helps me go to sleep. But right now, at this moment, I'm just talking, and I guess something I wanted to talk about was, how do I explain this? I guess something I wanted to talk about was accepting myself as a person. And I know this is weird. It's just totally out of left field. Like, why this, of all things? And, this has been on my mind for the longest time now. See, as over my entire life, really, I've never really accepted myself as a person. I've never really loved myself. I mean, I never hated myself, but I never really loved myself either. And I guess at this point I can say I really like myself. I like who I am as a person. I don't think I'm at that point where I love myself yet. I will be, and I know I can definitely reach that point, but as of right now, I'm not there yet. And I guess I want to talk about this because this is important to me. And I think just anyone in general, the idea of accepting yourself as a person. Like going through my entire life and looking back, I've never really accepted myself as a person. I've always thought I've had problems with myself, and I'm aware that I have problems with myself. That's everyone. We all have problems. I guess the thing is that, as a kid, that doesn't really matter. When you're a kid, like, you don't really understand what it means to have a tragic flaw or just flaws in general. Like, you think you're perfect as a kid, and that's what I thought so too as a kid. I thought I was the perfect kid. As ideal. Like, everyone should have been like me. I was the perfect kid. And I came to realize early on that that wasn't really the case at all. Even though I thought that, I never really felt that way. I always felt that there were others who were better than me, who got more attention than me, and I always wanted more attention. I always dealt with fleeting emotions, things that really shouldn't have bothered me when I was a kid, because I shouldn't have been processing these kinds of things. But I knew early on that, things are not okay. At least I'm not okay with things myself. And there's an ambulance outside. It's really loud. I feel like it'll interrupt with the recording. But I'll have to edit it out later, I guess, if I can. But, yeah, early on I realized that I had done, I was not okay with myself. And this went on, and I think I was more aware of this, around, like, middle school, when I started my middle school years, I just became a lot more potent. That I really was not okay with myself. I did not like myself as a person. I hated myself. I didn't want to live anymore because there was nothing good happening in my life. And talking about my life as a whole, that's a completely different. It's a completely different topic for a different time. That's a different vlog as a whole. But just to glaze over it, that's really how I felt. Like, I didn't want to live anymore. I didn't like myself as a person. And, this is the time, too, when I started having crushes. Like, all these crushes on all these little people that, I guess this is puberty. You have feelings for people, but it's not legitimate. It's not real love or affection. It's just kind of like those crushes you have that don't really mean much, infatuations at most. And that's really what it was. And I never liked myself as a person. I never liked how I looked. I hated how I looked, in fact. In fact, for the longest time, even until last year, I hated how I looked. I always thought of myself as ugly. And, it's not like that thought process has gone away. I still see myself. I don't see myself as ugly anymore. That's not true at all. I see myself as okay looking. I'm not the best looking person out there, but I'm not horrible looking either. I look just fine. And I mean, I don't like that. I really don't. But no one's perfect, and it's beyond just looks too. Like, when I in middle school and a lot of high school too, I came to realize that yes, there are people who are average, and there are people who are above average, who are below average. Like, there are set categories that people tend to fall in. And when I was in middle school and high school, like, I started to realize, like, I'm not perfect at all. There's not. In fact, I don't really see myself as perfect either. Nothing about me really stands out. At least that's what I thought back then. Now I can tell you that there are things about me that definitely stand out. But back then, no, I did not think that at all. In fact, I looked at myself and I thought, man, I'm an absolute shitbag. What's good about me? There's nothing good about me. I'm below average. I'm not that smart. I'm not that tall. I'm not that strong. I'm terrible looking. I have bad hair. I have eczema, asthma. My voice is annoying. I'm annoying. Like, all these bad thoughts about myself. Thoughts. Thoughts. I said that weird. But, all these weird thoughts about myself. And it was pessimistic, even cynical, and I understand that, but I thought that about myself because I couldn't accept myself as a person. I always wanted to be someone else, to be better than me. I didn't want to be myself. I hated myself. And I guess that also led partially into my depression, too, because I was clinically depressed for 2.5 years. And that, I guess, part of what led into my clinical depression was how much I hated myself as a person. And that's the thing, too, I really shouldn't have. Like, when I look back at it, it's like, why did I hate myself? And I guess part of the reasons I hated myself was because I never really had anyone to support me. See, most of my life until high school, I never really had friends. I had one best friend, and, he's been my best friend for 10 years now, but 10, 11, who knows how many years. We've stopped counting, but, but back then, I couldn't really have said that he was someone I could have relied on, because we were both going through puberty, and we were both understanding that life is not as easy as we thought it was. And part of that comes from accepting ourselves. And so, having realized that, like, I knew that I was alone. I really had no one I could rely on. My parents was out of the question. People from middle school, out of the question. And my best friend, yeah, no, I don't think he was in the right mindset to have been able to help me. So, I guess when I came into high school, I made friends for the first time. It was unbelievable. I never knew that I could meet so many supporting people that could help me with the troubles I'm with, just being there with me and accepting me for who I am. Of course, while they accepted me for who I am and I accepted them for who I am, I still couldn't accept myself for who I was. And I guess partially it was because I was still clinically depressed at the time. And to, like going through puberty and going through life, I had to mold myself into understanding that things are difficult, it's complicated, and especially in a country like America where the norm for, like what it means to be perfect is very high. When you don't fit those standards, it really bugs you. It gives you, like, I guess for me it was culture shock. Because I guess the perfect person in America, and this is different for everyone, but for, I guess, an American standard, for me at least, I thought what it meant to be perfect was to be intelligent, so well-educated, well-dressed, tall, handsome, nice hair, good skin, athletic, and these are just looks too, but, not only just that, but good, has a nice job, income, tall, I think I said tall, all these superficial things that make someone perfect. And I guess, I don't know, right now I'm rambling on, it's already 11 something minutes in. I have no idea if anything I'm saying even makes sense. I have no script. I never go in scripted. I just say whatever's on my mind, no notes whatsoever. But, I guess the thing is, maybe the reason why I could never accept myself was because of all the superficial things. There are so many superficial things that I focused on, how I looked, my intelligence, what people thought of me, and what I thought of myself. I mean, what I think of myself is definitely something I should take into consideration, but what other people think of me, sometimes you need to take that into consideration, but the negative aspects, at the very least, are not things you should take into consideration. And other superficial things like money, I don't know, whatever you consider superficial to be at the very least. All these things I focused too much on, and I didn't focus on the bigger things like personality, how I am as a person, how I act, what I'm passionate about, just doing me, doing what I want to do and what I'm interested in. And I guess that's what I started to realize in senior year, that I just need to, screw it, I'm sick and tired of not being able to do what I want, I don't know what I'm going to be doing in life. That's the thing. I say I want to be a teacher, but I know for a fact that could change anytime. I don't know for sure because I'm young. My mindset's constantly changing. Things can happen. And that's life. Life is unpredictable like that, and you kind of just got to go with it. And I get that. But when you're at the point where you don't know what you want to do with your life, you can't accept yourself as a person, and you would rather be dead than alive, then that's when there's a problem. And I never really consulted a psychiatrist or anyone like that. No, I just kind of dealt with it on my own. And living my life currently, I am comparing myself from last year and this year, it's so different. There's such a huge difference, and it's amazing to me that only a year has passed because so much has changed. And I'm not talking about I guess around me, not much has changed really around me. My friends are still the same, we're in college, but things are still not too different, honestly. Besides the college factor, life is still the same. Nothing much has changed. I still go to school. I still do homework. I still have essays and things to worry about. That hasn't changed. But what's changed is my outlook on life, how I see the world, and how I am now. And I guess the reason that is because when I went to Italy, I saw more of the world that I was not able to see in New York. And coming back, I realized that I became more appreciative of what was around me. And it wasn't just my friends and my family, because I'm appreciative of my friends and family, but Yeah, it was more than that. I was just appreciated the fact that I was alive, that I can live and see and experience what I had actually done. Was able to experience going to a foreign country, seeing brand new terrain, seeing all these new things. And coming back into New York, I realized that I'm alive. And for once, after a long time, I'm actually really happy to be alive. Like, it's eventually, things just started to click. Like, if I'm happy to be alive, then was I so pissed off before? Why did I never? Why couldn't it just have been this simple? And maybe it's because I had to leave the country to see that. But even then, like living in the country again. Hold on. I heard the door open. Huh. Weird. No, but like, the thing is that leaving the country, I saw things that I didn't see here in New York, and I guess coming back to New York, like, the mindset I had definitely disappeared because of all the stress and all the worry I had to go through in high school, but, that... But then, during the summer, I realized that, you know what? There's more to life, and that's the thing, too, like, I've recently come to realize that life is very simple. It's so simple, and we just make it complicated. I think Confucius said it the best when he said, life is simple, we just make it complicated. And I've made friends in college who have made me see that they make everything so complicated, and I just simplify it, and they're like, oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. And I try to do it for myself, too, and I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, life is simple. Life is very simple. We just make it complicated of all the things we have to do. Yeah, like, we have to do all these little things that just add up and make things more complicated. And I guess in the process, because we're so stressed out from everything we're doing, we don't really focus on ourselves at times too. And when we do, we realize we're not perfect. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying, but maybe you can understand. But because of that, like, leaving the country, coming back, I've become more appreciative of being alive and being able to experience the world for what it is. And beyond just that, like, because I was able to accept being alive, I was able to accept, I'm not there yet, but I'm on the road to fully accepting myself as a person. If I can accept myself for living, or if I can accept the act of living, then I can accept the act of being a person. And being my own person, not being the person that other people want me to be. No, being myself. Accepting myself, accepting for all the flaws and all the good things, all the bad things, everything about myself, accepting all of it. And I'm definitely not there yet. That's nowhere near there, but I'm getting there. And I'm really happy with where I am right now. I know it could be worse. And right now I feel like it's going to get a lot worse. But I know that I'm going to get through this, because I've gone through tougher things in my life. And once I get through it, it's going to be easier. I don't know what's ahead of me, but I know that life is tough. I get that. But again, life is simple. We just make it complicated. So I'm going to try looking at things more simply. I'm not going to complicate things anymore, because I guess that's what I really did this entire time, for most of my life. I complicated things when I should have just looked at it simply. And maybe that'll change everything. Maybe maybe it'll make the road to acceptance easier. I don't know. But I know that I am accepting myself, and I'm happy with that. And for once, I'm happy with where I am, and I don't ever want to not be happy anymore. Like, I know what it's like to not be happy, and I don't ever want to let go of this feeling of just being content with where I am right now. And I'm only 18 too, which is the crazy thing. Like, the fact that I'm thinking about this at such a young age. This is something that old people say. Oh, excuse me. It's freaking 5:10. I've been talking into the microphone for like 20 minutes. God, this is... Oh, man. If you were listening the entire time, thank you so much for listening to this audio vlog, or whatever you want to call it. I honestly don't know what I've been saying. I've just been talking about myself. And I know it's not a bad thing. I really don't think it's a bad thing, but yeah, I feel like it could get annoying. I'm sorry, I really am, but that's just how I am, I guess. Again, thank you so much for listening. I know you must have wasted like 20 something minutes just listening to me ramble on about God knows what on the road to acceptance and superficial bullshit. But again, I know I've been repeating myself, but thank you for listening. So yeah, I if you're listening to this, leave a like, I guess. And I don't mean I guess. Seriously, leave a like if you like this. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike. Do whatever feels right to you. Comment if you want to, because who doesn't like comments, right? Also subscribe to me if you want to hear more crap if you want to hear more crap like this, because it's not crap, but it is definitely, it's not structured talks like TED Talks or anything like that. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe. This has gone on long enough. I should end this here. So I'll see you guys next time. And I should probably go to sleep. It's 5:12 in the morning. Man, I wish I was tired.